All right, let's make sure that this is actually live. Testing, testing, 1, 2. All right, let's go to my page on my phone. Make sure the volume is down so I don't blast myself with my own voice, which is odd whenever that happens. Yeah, we're live. Cool. Okay. All right, we are live. So, what I wanted to do this Saturday, I don't know how many of y'all can make it to the stream because it's kind of an early morning stream, but I do have plans this afternoon, so I wasn't exactly able to stream this afternoon. And then yesterday I was trying to stream and then had some technical issues come up. I had to fix those. I did get those fixed, but the problem is, hey, someone paranoid, good to see you. But the problem is, I didn't have time yesterday, so doing it today. I did have some time this morning, so what we're going to do today, I am going to watch Umami Interface Part 1 and Part 2, watch it as a whole, and I'm going to theorize a little bit. What I'm actually here to do, though, the main reason I'm here is, actually I need to get that paper real quick, but I'm here to take notes so that I can do an updated timeline video soon. I want you all to see my process of coming up with the timeline live. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to watch it all, talk about a couple theories, talk about a couple timeline things, and I'm going to take notes so that I can make a timeline video and the other videos that I talked to you all about. So, just going to hang out, watch Umami, take notes, so should be fun. Hope you all are having a great Saturday. Hope you all had a great weekend so far, counting Friday. It's kind of a weekend day. I'm probably going to stream tomorrow night. That's when I'll be looking into the next topic for the live dives. But today, this morning, I just wanted to go ahead and do one that's kind of quicker since we're just going to watch Interface and take a few notes. But I wanted to hang out with you all anyway because I missed you all yesterday, so it's good to see you all here. Good morning, Zeus. Good morning, Fluxcat. Good morning, Samantha. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you all have any topics you'd like me to look into, make sure to drop it into the comments. You can drop it into the live comments, or you can drop it into the comments of this video itself, and I will look at all your suggestions on any live dive or any review videos like this. And I'll look into your series. It doesn't mean I'll look into it live or I'll make a dive video of it, but I will look into it, and if I like what I see, I will make a dive video. So, all right, let's get started. The very beginning of Umami's interface. Is the audio okay? Can you all hear me? Hope you all can hear me okay. All right. I turned the volume of the actual video down somewhat, and then I made sure that the microphone was all the way up. So hopefully you all can hear me okay this time. All right, so something I want to theorize on real quick is the static, the shapes we see. It is different from the spirit energy static that we see. It's almost like the sentience or itself building a body. I'm going to have a video on that, on the shapes, on the symbology of the shapes, on the composition of the shapes, going really deep into that. What I think it's going to represent is actually the shapes that made up the Titan that Mr. Greetings thought existed in the universe. All right, no more interruptions. Let's go. I think this, honestly, all of this, I think, happened the day after the veil, because it's been years since the veil ripped. I don't know. I'll get into the significance of the way he comes in later, too, because there is some significance to that. But that's going to take a lot more explaining than just saying it. Animation was kind of funny back then. Just the way he animated the face. Yes, I have captions on for you all so you can actually understand. See, that's why it's the Philadelphia experiment. It all lines up with that. The year does, but there's also other things that line up in that year. There's things that line up with the year that Henrik was born, and there's some other timeline things we're also going to get into. But just taking a mental note of that as we go.
That would make us invisible to the enemy. What happened instead? We were teleported to New York. And in that process, my shipmates fused to the hull of the ship. Embedded in the metal, screaming for help.
Alright, good. Glad you all can hear me. Alright, see, and there's the shape. I feel like the shapes are actually an entity in themselves. Like I said, we'll get into that later, though. That's going to be its own video.
I was destroyed. Forced to regain my physicality.
See, forced to regain my physicality. Okay, so that's another thing that I would talk to some people in the comments about. That could actually be the deity saying that it had to regain its physicality as in it existed before. But it also could be the clown who was disintegrated and then tried to regain his form, but it wasn't completely him anymore. It was still his face, but it was on this creature. I'm gonna try to stop stopping so much.
I'm a boss. Get on. I can take you anywhere.
See, but Mischief knew.
To hurt you.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But Mischief knew where Henrik was thinking about going. He knew his mind. I don't know if he's able to read it or if he just was also invited to go there. But he knew. Gosh, the animation proved so much since the beginning.
If you don't decide, I will.
So he's actually the one that brought him there. Because he never said anything. So he did definitely know about the lighthouse. I want to know if that's the Church of Kami. Or something else, because that just seems a little ominous. And then see, there's another cross shape. There's a lot of cross symbolism. And I think it's a reference to Kami, because Kami was thrown onto it at one point.
I will decide.
But this all takes place years after everything. This is about halfway through the timeline, where it actually starts. Yeah, the puzzles I used to do. It was bad in this. Yeah, Fox, it really did evolve a lot. And I'll be able to talk to you after this, but see, and there's the shapes again. It almost, they use it as a transition, but the shapes I think are more so the things working through all these different mediums. But yeah, I'll talk to you after the show, but I am gonna have to leave after I do the live stream, so I'll have to talk to you on the way to the place.
Ladies and gentlemen, future historians will look back on this day as the beginning of a new era.
New era. See, the thing is, Mr. Greetings was definitely trying to clean up the spirits as he had promised, but when he got to this point in his life where he looks like this, the new era is when he decided to try to build himself this deity instead of just cleaning up the spirits. He thought they may were supposed to go together instead of being destroyed. I really do think there was a shift there at some point, and that's why you hear him talking about the origin of the universe. He really got into it too deeply, sort of overthinking it.
Since the 1943 phenomenon, the world as we know it has been plagued with an immaterial, cerebral electricity. Ghost stories and myths became no longer superstitions, but a horrifying reality that we've been forced to recognize. We have since learned that this electricity was not a foreign substance. It had simply revealed itself for us to observe
I feel like I really need to do, not only do I need to do a timeline, but I feel like I need to do a proper explained video as well. Because not only the symbology is very deep and complicated, but the actual story itself is very complex. So I feel like I really need to go back and I need at least to make 3 videos. I need to make one for the symbolisms. I need to make one for the new timeline that after I've seen everything. I need to make one kind of explaining everything. And then after that, there'll be a few smaller ones. But I feel like those are the 3 main videos. I won't make them all like in a row or right now. But I will start working on them now, and I'll have them out fairly soon. But I do at least make those 3 Umami videos to really give it a final thought that other people can even reference if they want to look into it. So that way it gets the proper attention it deserves, while I'm not only limiting myself to Umami, but I'm doing other things that I like to do as well, like looking into the ARGs, playing games, things like that. So I just want you all to know where I'm at on this. I do want to keep looking into Umami, but I don't want it to be my only focus. I don't want to become an Umami channel.
Scientists, engineers, backed by many nations and corporate sponsors, we have finally been able to shine light into this darkness. As CEO of Greetings Robotics Corporation, it is my pleasure, my honor, to present to you Canon Generation 1.
Okay, especially with Cammy Generation 1, how many Cammies did he plan on building? That's a big question. Here's the patent number. I bet that means something if you decode it. And that symbol means God or Cammy on the back there, I believe. Yeah, this is Mark 1, isn't it? I thought this was the Mark 2. Maybe I was wrong. I think I missed it. I'm pretty sure it said Mark 2 on the shoulder when they were putting it together. I just didn't point out quick enough. Thank you all for the 5 likes. I appreciate it. Always good to see you all. I love streaming with you all. Definitely going to do more. A lot more games, things like that. Fun things as well. Not just the live dives and reviews like this one. Okay, then here's Henrik's big thing. This is kind of the first glimpse into Henrik's bad past and how Mischief ties into it. This is right after the car crash with Henrik's family. And Mischief ate them, not really knowing. I mean, you know, that's what he eats to survive. So he wasn't really thinking about it being someone's family. Another interesting thing that one of the comments pointed out that I hadn't really thought of before is that maybe these aren't spirit creatures that survived in nature, but maybe these are all the people that got fused to the hull of the ship and became something new when the veil ripped like Mischief did. So these might actually, the reason he's absorbing them originally was because he was trying to regain the crew that transformed and put them all and get them all away so that they weren't wreaking havoc. But the thing is, once he started getting them together, he realized they were body parts like a heart and a hand, like this one's a hand. So he thought they were supposed to go together into something bigger and better. So that's kind of where that mentality branched from. The granddaughter was being taken care of by the hand for a while after her family died. It makes me wonder. There's another theory that I think connects, and we're all going to look into that as well. I forgot to mention that. Is that the hand is actually the grandmother's spirit that was transformed. There's a lot of reason to believe that, and it'll show that here in the series. But that's why she was so comfortable with the hand spirit, is because it was actually her grandma, or her great-grandma. It was family. And it was there maybe to bring the rest of the family to the afterlife, but she didn't get to do that because Mischief ate them. It's also why he's helping Henrik now. He feels bad about it. They're all ghosts, including Mischief. Like spirit creatures. This freaking robot using soul energy. But it's an AI, so it's a self-aware being that's powered on spirits. It would be a very confusing existence. Also symbology there. Like I said, we'll get into all of that in its own video. I'm just taking mental notes now. I'll be able to remember it all if I watch it all together. Got a pretty good memory. The Mandela catalog? I will look into it, FluxCap. I'll look and see if it's good. If it's pretty early, I may wait a little bit, though. I feel like this is very important, the angel thing, because there's also symbolism with the serpent, and mischief either being Lucifer as a serpent or the Leviathan. There's a lot of world serpent Leviathan symbology in this series. And also with this being the fruit of man, the fruit that tempted in the Garden of Eden, the angel, yeah. Again, look into the symbology in its own video.
I'm so used to spaghettification as my method of transportation that I forgot what it was like to be human.
It seems a lot of times that Mischief speaks for Henrik, and at the end he actually speaks through Henrik. So it makes you wonder if that's his voice and that he's actually the soul of Henrik. There's a lot of weird connection there too that I'm going to look into a little bit as we do the explore videos I was talking about.
What a familiar feeling. The restrictiveness of the human body. To see through your eyes. The world around you still looks no different to me. But it's what you desire that brought you here. And these are the things I'm blind to.
So he has no emotion, but he can still see? Is that what you're saying?
Something is obstructing your way.
Couldn't let go of the past. It's honestly Henrik's story of letting go as well.
Someone's coming.
Oh, some new people. Welcome to the stream. What we're doing is we're watching Umami's interface. Straight through. Yeah, there's so much to do with the sunflower. I'm also going to have a video on that, just a short one, but there's a lot of symbology there, and it really, really makes the story cohesive in a brand new way. But what we're going to do is today I am watching Umami's interface again as a whole, so that I can take mental notes for the new timeline video that I'm going to be working on. The ball. The ball always gets me. His transformations are pretty dang amazing. Thank you all for 6 likes. I appreciate that.
It's good for the cardio.
For the heart. Kind of reverencing the heart.
You look like you could
Mesdames
use.
et messieurs, le musée fermera ses portes dans 15 minutes. Veuillez s'il vous plaît vous diriger vers la sortie.
Did you know regular exercise can change your DNA? One of the most important.
Attention visitors, the museum will be closing in 15 minutes. Please make your way to the exits.
Let me just show you this before we leave.
One of the most important parts of the series right here. See, this right here makes me think that Mischief is more than just one of the people on the ship that was turned into energy and then became a spirit being. And the fact that Mischief is so powerful at the end really makes me think that Mischief is the spirit of the world, and that when the Philadelphia experiment happened, which would be around in this area, that the spirit of the earth was removed from the earth and then became its own being. And maybe it saw the clown, or there's some inspiration there. It possibly already was sentient and it was watching, and it saw the clown and decided to take the clown's form. or take the form of a clown. But there's also there's a spirit of clown, which is an actual, well, technically a religious thing, kind of, not like a Christian religious thing, but like a spiritual thing. Anyway, that's all going to be covered as well. But this, to me, shows that Mischief is a different being than the rest of them, and he was born out of the world, and that's why when he took his form, the entire veil changed. He brought forth a new era where the veil was ripped, and you can see spirits.
The year of my transformation. I was like a little baby chicken, breaking through to explore the unknown, leaving Earth behind.
See, and he was the baby chicken. He was in the egg. What came first, the chicken or the egg? So that's kind of saying that he's some sort of deity, because he was talking about how did people build the deities, or did they already exist? And even with him, if he was a deity, he was still born from something humans did with the Philadelphia experiment. So very interesting question, and it really does tie very well into Mischief as a whole.
A shell of its former self. Something is telling me this is what we have in common. The only question is, when you broke free, what did you leave behind?
Dad, when I was young, I wanted to be a photographer.
I was wondering why he wanted Henrik specifically, since he was a human. Even though he's in a paradox, I was wondering why Mr. Greetings wanted him in particular, and it's because he was one of the spirit creatures. He's not actually alive either. He's also a spirit creature that was born from... And he's able to be seen because the veil's torn. He was born at the same time, because we see during the explosion, all his skin has melted off his skin, and then he reforms using the static energy. So he's also a spirit. That's why we wanted to put him into Cammy, the giant baby Cammy.
Just like you, to freeze time and to bear witness to the world. That never happened, but I have memories. After Mom got sick, during the funeral, the pastor just stared at you. I was too young to understand, and maybe I still don't.
See, and he's making the circle around him. That's also, World Serpent. He realizes he's going through the thing. It's like a summoning circle. I don't know. Again, most of this I'm not gonna explain here. This is mainly gonna be the watch through where I'm taking notes, but I do have all of this marked down for video topics and points. So.
I'm old now, like you should be. But I need to ask. When I join Mom, should we wait for you? Will you ever come?
Weird question, because when they come to the other side, they become cerebral energy. So,
4.6.
I mean, I guess they're all together, but they melted. Okay, this is Mr. Greetings talking about what changed his mind about putting things together,
The sun.
about the collective consciousness.
The remaining materials formed what is called a protoplanetary disk. Our Earth was formed. Later came the first proteins, RNA, DNA.
The little crab.
It wasn't an accident. It is thought that there are 1 billion trillion stars in the observable universe.
He thinks the stars are another form of life.
Statistically likely to have occurred.
Well, that's something later, not at this point.
Over time, the atoms and molecules that make up each and every one of us rearrange themselves. Over time, they have strived to become more complex.
This is why he thought he had to build the interface. He thought it was all leading up to this being born, this perfect vessel for the collective consciousness as the collective consciousness united. But what he didn't realize is the collective consciousness is so special and so powerful because it can view many aspects of life at once. It's all one being, but all separate, observing from many different angles instead of being forced into just one. They're limiting the collective consciousness by doing that. The intelligence, the life that has made evolution a vehicle for its observation and growth and progression. Life in general. Hey, poo-poo. T-Post status confirmed. I've never noticed that. Cayman power system stable, initiate. House configuration, detective GR mobile chamber. Green robotics mobile chamber. Booting. Version 12.14. I need to look at the significance of 12.14 or 12.40 instead also. 12.14 or 12.40? 12.40, look into 12.40 as well. Yeah, the blimp is the big baby from the end, actually. See, it was like an artificial version of it. See those little sparkles? Mobile chamber to guys complete. See, the little floating particles are something that naturally happens. We see that during the transitions, and Cammy's doing an artificial version of that. So they're trying to create what Mischief already is, pretty much. They just don't realize it. Or what the spirits themselves already are, just separately instead of together. See, Cammy's been absorbing spirit energy, and she just kind of uploads it into the brain, into the cloud. It's a pretty weird look at how we upload things into the cloud. If we're actually creating this collective consciousness, creating this robotic deity ourselves by constantly feeding it information, our spirits, our energy, our time. Yeah, the blimp turns into the big baby at the end. That's where they're storing it all and putting together things. It's actually the interface for everything. Cammy's just a vessel to go collect and retrieve to bring back to Cammy 1, or this big baby vessel blimp thing. So weird. See, all of these numbers mean things. Those are hexadecimals. I do need to go back and translate those, because especially at the end there's one that Cammy inputs I think could be important. Secret information. Something they're conveying without, you know, outright saying it. Wonder how many spirits it took to make that face. Brain. See, they're scanning in the hand spirit, assimilating it into the interface. How could you just watch that? You know it's a person, or at least a spirit. It's just being digested. And you're okay with watching this. And there's the whale. And the lighthouse. See that sound? That sound we always hear? I thought for so long that it was the blimp. But it turns... Well, that is the blimp. That's the sound of the blimp scanning. But there's another sound that we hear. and it's actually been coming from the lighthouse the whole time. We see that at the end, and I never noticed that until now. Well, actually, until the first time I watched it. I did notice then, but, you know, going back, this is the first time I've noticed. I actually didn't expect it to be this cohesive together. This is an easy watch altogether. I usually just watch them episodically. I usually don't watch them all at the same time. That's a scary power plant. Just seeing these souls. Of course, if you all have ever astral projected, you know that all living things, like trees and everything, kind of have this energy. Okay, we're getting to some weird stuff now. We'll talk about that in a whole separate thing. That's something I want to get into today, but it is similar to something you can actually see if you kind of alter your state of thinking. But also electricity in general moves like that, and we can observe that in science. It's interesting. You think that's a good commercial, my dude? The heck?
Hey kids, do you like monsters?
I love this part.
What about scary monsters? Introducing
I love how his foot just got stuck in his head during the destabilization.
Scary demons and more. But be careful.
See,
Their claws are sharp.
the fact there's so many spirits makes me think that a lot of people destabilized, or a lot of spirits were revealed, and it's not just the crew, though. I mean, there's a lot of different spirits, and I don't think Greetings ever got that clown with the foot through his head either. And that is canon because it's right here, so I don't think that's all he was trying to do. I think he was mainly looking for the pieces that look like body parts.
Their teeth are sharper.
That's why he was scanning for them.
Don't take no for an answer. Hazmat's monster collection for the kid with no fear.
Tweet, tweet, tweet. I'm trying to be a bird.
Thank you all again for the 6 likes. Appreciate that.
How are you feeling?
Can we get it up to 12 likes? Maybe?
Not feeling talkative, eh? Let's see what the doctors had to say. So that's your name.
Very important chart. 1910 is a very important date. I've talked about it before in one of my videos. But I really need to... That's the point of reference I got for a lot of things, including how I found out there was an actual clown on a ship during all this stuff, and that his name was Percy, and that it all kind of goes back to that. So this year was very important.
Born 1910. There's something you aren't telling me, isn't there? I bet the nurses in the next room are wondering how a man over 100 years old has skin smoother than theirs.
Oh, update likes. Thank you all. For those of you who are just dropping in, we are doing an analysis for a couple videos I'm working on. I really wanted to watch it all at once. Get some notes for the timeline video, some mental notes, and also some mental notes for the symbology video and the other videos that I am going to do in the future. Yeah, more than them are going to try to keep it for themselves. But, yeah, I don't want to be known as just the new Umami channel, but I would like to continue to look into it. I do have some videos planned, so I'm taking notes for that now. But, tomorrow, most likely, I'll be looking into the next live dive for the next topic, the next ARG I'll be looking into. Because I want to be able to do Umami, but also want to be able to do my the ARGs I look into, just any video I want to look into without being, you know, constrained to just Umami videos. But I do have a few planned, so taking notes for that today by watching it live. And I figured I'd show you all my process for taking notes and maybe if y'all had some thoughts, you could drop that into the comments or into the live chat and help me take notes for that. Turn up Umami. Okay. Just a second. Let me turn up the show real quick. That would be the desktop audio. Let's bring it to about 35. It should be fine. Okay. Should be good now.
You're closed.
9 likes. Thank you all. See if we can get to 10. Can we get one more like? Thanks you all. Appreciate that.
Isn't that a bit cannibalistic of you to be chopping up sea creatures? The strong eat the weak. But what about parasites?
Hey, the strong. Maybe that's why he took that form.
Isn't that what you're doing, Miss Chief? Guilty.
So is he trying to live through Henrik? I've never really analyzed that phrasing. There's a lot of phrasings and
Miss poor hearing. That voice is unforgettable.
but with there's a lot of speeches that are in their deeper concepts that they reach for in Umami that I really need to analyze, that really make a big profound statement.
Camouflage. That depends on who you're hiding from.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
Unlike you, I can change my color.
I don't particularly plan on hiding puzzles and dives anymore.
What do I choose if I don't know?
They'll kind of be in their own videos if I do the ARG and the puzzle things again. Yeah, exactly, Foxcat. It was foreshadowing Henrik's past. I kind of showed those two side by side in one of my dives that I did. Thanks, Spoof Proof. I think everyone complained about that, honestly, about the puzzle with the black and white images in Umami. I kind of, honestly, I kind of did that on purpose, so if you all would really pay attention to the artwork of Umami, because he does such a good job. So it was a little bit me just being a punk, and a little bit trying to make the puzzle complicated, because I gave away a lot of information for the ARG I was doing at the time, hidden in the dives that I did. So he's like the hand. He's like the hand, or the, like, in some cultures, there's, like, avatars of deities, and Cammy's kind of that avatar to the big baby deity thing. It's just, it's odd how close it actually does mimic world religions. You know, whoa, go back. There's something that, he had this stream of prophecies. I need to count how many orbs there are. I wonder if that's how many spirits he had to absorb to complete the deity. See here, whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 of them. 12. If you're going into Christian legends and things, it would be the 12 disciples. I don't know. I doubt it's connected to that, but it could be. It's just there's a lot of symbology. So much.
One of a machine that processes the world in ones and zeros.
I could not withstand an endless void of static. That would destroy me. That's worse than infinite clear. Looking for the heart. Or the heart of the world. See, it thinks it's trying to build this world of spirit, which I think Mischief might be.
I fear camouflage has no effect on those
Because Umami himself said that he doesn't know if Mischief's story was true, or if it's something that was already existing in the universe, some kind of cosmic being. The fact that he went out of his way to say that makes me think that Mischief was not the clown trying to become itself again, but was some other kind of being that took on the form of a clown for some reason. Maybe because it doesn't take everything as seriously as we do. No, it isn't strange to say that, Poof Poof, because that's what Mr. Greetings himself thought.
Is this about that weird
We're watching Umami's interface.
of the room? Hey, buddy. You're a bit early. The restaurant doesn't open until 5.
There's a picture of Henrik up there. It's Henrik's granddaughter practicing. I believe. Either that or it's his daughter. Because, I mean, Henrik's very old. It looks like maybe son, and then Henrik. And the daughter? So this might be the daughter, not the granddaughter. Or great-granddaughter. I think he's the great-granddaughter. He's been alive for a long time. Human life is strange. Every 20 or 30 years, another generation's born. It's so close together, and you live through multiple. I mean, I guess it's good to see that your family name goes on, but just strange concept. Whoa, okay, that person looks like Cammy. Like, a lot like Cammy. Was Cammy originally a person as well? Became some kind of weird being that they put the interface around? Odd, I never noticed that.
Classy place, isn't it?
I love how they travel through the artwork to tell the story. Like that painting reminded him of his granddaughter and daughter and all of them. They use paintings to kind of jump
My favorite.
into the emotional feelings of each concept that's taking place. The way he eats. Awesome, we're at 10 likes. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. Again, we are watching Umami's interface all the way through to take notes for a couple videos that I'm working on.
I know what's wrong. You're smoking too many cigarettes. To be quite honest,
It does curb your
food
appetite.
isn't what I need to survive. But it tastes so good. That chef may be grumpy, but he has a big heart. He's wrong about one thing.
Big heart, huh?
He thinks I can't change colors. The reality is, I don't want to. I choose to be this way.
Showing some creativity and personality, something that's kind of been lost from the world. He's really trying to teach him how to live again. That's kind of the main thing Mischief was doing during this.
After all this
Showing him
time,
why to live and how to live again.
it finally makes sense. And it always does. You long for your late family. 3 passed from old age. And
So his daughter,
two
yeah.
were killed in a tragic car accident.
Yeah. Huh, it's the mom. It's his, I don't know if that's his daughter or if that was his son, but the mom of the great granddaughter, or the granddaughter. She looks like Cammy, like a lot like Cammy.
But the little one, your dear great-granddaughter.
Great-granddaughter.
I have something that you might want to know. You can choose to accept it or not.
It's very human, isn't it?
One thing is for certain.
To not want to live on without knowing that you had posterity, that you had a future generation of your name to pass on. It's like he clung to life, kept moving on because he thought he was the last of his kind, last of his name. But he can move on now that he knows that his family will move on through his great-granddaughter. Very human. He took a bite of the apple of the bitter truth, realizing that he can pass on because he has family still. I mean, technically, they're all, thinking back to what you said a minute ago, Poof Poof, they all technically are layers of one being. If it's the collective consciousness, it's all consciousnesses being different perspectives, but of the same being. They all seem like one being because they're all part of one being. Not that they should be together as one being, but that they're all of the same. They're all family. They're all brothers and sisters. They're all of the same cosmic energy, and intelligence, and life. I hid so much in this frame, I remember. You all were so mad. And in this too, with the shapes. Yep. One of those looked like me. Even on my hat. The way they walk in this show is so weird. That was a lot of faces. He had to animate like 40 faces to put into that, just for that one little scene. Really worth it, those. It's interesting.
I can't explain why it happened. These are the answers that I searched for.
Man, she was young. She was raised by the ghost for a while. That's when the crash happened. No, it was just the way it looked. It was the angle.
The answers that I need.
Because it wasn't a bundle, that was her hair. This all happened pretty recently.
Your great-granddaughter survived.
So Henrik's depression has only been maybe a couple months. Him wanting to end it.
Only now that I drew the connection.
It all happened fairly recently. The car crash and everything.
Punch buggy. I'm just messing with you. That's more like it.
Almost through part 1 of 2. There are 2 little packets like this. It's interesting that he didn't make a video of all of the interface together. He's still separated into 2 parts. Like 2 acts.
It's time to go home.
And that's where they go, to Henrik's place. I wonder how much of this he conceptualized on the fly as he was making this, and how much he already had laid out as like an actual script of a story.
The intentions
I need to
are
ask him that.
pure.
He still does live streams every once in a while. We can ask
My
questions.
vision is clear. Our goal is communal.
11 likes, thank you all. 12 is the usual. Can we get one more like? That was my goal, is 12. See, there's the brain.
The
insert the spirit brain inserted into the interface that we see later on.
Machines that have the ability to adapt, internalize, learn,
Artificial intelligence.
and evolve.
And evolve. He thinks that artificial intelligence is the next step after
Everything
living
has
beings.
been calculated.
He thinks it's just the next thing, the next living being after man. And I've heard people say the same thing. They think that we're just a vehicle to build what's next. We're not the final state of evolution, and we're not going to evolve into the final state of evolution, but we're the vehicle for the thing that comes next, which would be machines.
There is a voice
Artificial intelligence, all
whispering
that.
to me that something's wrong.
If we could just get one more like, we're at the 12 goal. Thank you all for the 11, though. I do appreciate that.
As we
It does help me out a lot.
sanitize this earth, the
threats we
face
face scattered
are
to the-
scattered to the winds.
Alright, so is he actually thinking this, or is this just his public face? Is he just telling them he's still getting rid of it? Or a third option that I didn't even think about, is he thinking that the spirits okay, this is a definitely a human thing, thinking that they can control everything, thinking they have the best ideas and the best interests of everyone, thinking that nature itself is too dangerous or isn't doing the right thing, and that humanity knows best. So maybe he's taking the spirits that he sees as wild, these deities he sees as wild, and putting them into a controllable state for the benefit of humanity. But again, that's placing humanity above everything. So that's a little, don't really like that as putting yourself above the universe. That's a little conceited. I think that might be the third option that I didn't think about. Is that he didn't think that it had to be united as a titanish being, or that the collective consciousness was looking for a body, perhaps, but maybe he thought the collective consciousness was too wild, too out of control, so he wanted to bring it all together into something more manageable, something more tame, but be the same being. "12 likes! Woo! We did it!" Thank you all so much. I appreciate that.
Deleted. We will always have the upper hand.
And again, the cloud, everything being backed up. It being the next stage in human evolution.
Still persists. If you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss gazes into you.
Can't even realize what it is. Just confused, honestly. So many fractal lines all put together into one amalgamation being under an AI interface. See that big thing? That's the baby. It's a little more detailed now here at the end. It kind of continues with this style the rest of the way through. Because originally, Umami didn't think it'd be a whole series. Originally, it was just going to be the first episode and just be like one of those confusing little things. Maybe have a couple more. And expect it to become a whole series. Again, we need to analyze those. But I'm glad he did make it into a series because it's super interesting and I love to watch it. It's oddly relaxing to me. I don't think that's close enough, honestly. That doesn't seem close enough to be a heart. I mean, it's similar. But he kind of jumped the gun there, I believe. See, it's humans thinking they're better than everything else, thinking they know everything, and assuming that they're correct. Well, it's close enough. There's no... It's like one of those conspiracy theorists. There's no way that it could be like this without actually being this. There's no way that it's actually this close to looking like a heart without meaning to be the heart of the universe. It's supposed to go together. Why else would it look like a bunch of human parts floating around? Of course they go together. Just that human arrogance again. Instead of learning about life, they're more concerned about trying to be the top, thinking they don't know everything, trying to put themselves on the top of life instead of understanding it and becoming a part of it. They put themselves above it, and that's why we keep damaging the earth. That's why we have things like pollution, climate change, all of that. Well, climate change is natural, but the accelerated climate change, it's all because humanity thinks they know best, and they put their way above nature. It'd be spooky if we got to 13 likes. Okay, so that is part 1. I believe that's all of it. Make sure there's nothing at the end. There's not. Alright, so we'll jump into part 2 now. And we'll finish it up. I want to keep it all fresh in my mind so I can take mental notes and then afterwards physical notes for the timeline and the other projects I'm working on. The animation got a lot better in the second half. I mean, it's still got that aesthetic, that Microsoft Paint vibe, which is cool because it makes it feel more like a painting that's come to life. But look, I mean, look at the detail in like the owl and things. There's really a lot more effort put into it as well. I don't know who the faces in the building were. I'm gonna have to go back and analyze that and try to compare it with other things in the series. And the fact this owl has freaking soul energy in its eyes. Maybe it's just light in general. Maybe we're just seeing light. Maybe it wasn't even spirits. Who knows? Something else that will need to be pondered through. Or maybe it's a reflection of the spirit energy. Yeah, I have no idea who those faces were. Thank you all for stopping by, and thank you all for taking notes of me. I appreciate that. I'm always glad to hang out with you all. Wish I had more chances to do so, honestly. You're halfway through Umami's interface. I don't know if that felt quick to you all, but that felt like it moved by really quickly to me. Sorry if I'm getting to the comments late. I'm trying to watch it, so I'm not paying that much attention. I did fix the comment issue where it lags so much, but I'm not exactly keeping up with it. I've got it on my phone instead of on the computer because OBS is still being a little bit odd, so I can't really have the comments up on the side without it showing, and I don't really want to do that. But with it being on the phone, I will probably get to a few of them a little bit late because I'm not paying attention the whole time. I'm sorry about that. This guy looks so weird with the veil ripped. What was holding the veil? What is the veil? What kept us from seeing the spirit world? That's what I want to know. Was it just a change in energy? Change in electrons in the air? I mean, what changed? What was that actual shift? That's something I really want to look into. What the actual spirit veil is in different cultures, what it could be scientifically, and how it could be undone scientifically and spiritually. I really, really, really want to look into that.
How many of those do you have in that jacket? They seem to just spontaneously appear.
Now we learn about his immortality actually being some kind of quantum loop or time loop.
And I know you're not one to litter.
Or time loop.
That's quite a conundrum you got yourself.
I want that self-driving Umami Tesla too. Well, you didn't say you wanted it, but I want one. That would be awesome. If I mean, that's basically what it is. That'd be awesome if they designed a Tesla that looked like Mischief. I mean, honestly, please, if you're listening, I know he's not listening, but if somehow this gets around to somebody working on the Tesla cars, please make a Mischief car for Umami's interface. It'd be so awesome.
We're driving in the right direction.
I couldn't afford it, but those who could afford it, that are collectors of Umami things, that would be freaking awesome.
This whole time, I was trying to figure out your secret.
12 likes, okay. If we get to 13, it'd be kind of creepy. I'm glad we stopped at 12. Unless we can get past 13, that'd be great.
You must feel suspicious of me.
I would be. I mean, you're just this random spirit thing.
We're running on fumes here. I might have to switch over to something more sustainable.
What if that's... I wonder if he could actually eat other things, but just takes so much energy is the reason that Mischief eats spirits. There's a lot of energy there to keep going for longer. Because all he ate was some noodles. That's why he ran out of energy. He didn't eat a spirit. Of course, he is kind of just spirit energy under that body as well. So he's got quite a bit in there to power himself on. But if he runs out, will he just die and dissipate? Or is he actually the spirit energy underneath and the skin's what's covering it up? That's a good question.
Sorry, Henrik. Sometimes I can't help myself. But each other.
So he was going to use Henrik's decision to decide if he wants to become part of the interface or to destroy it, maybe? Maybe he was wondering if that actually was the universe's intentions, to live on in the next stage as this interface. I think a lot of his decision-making and a lot of everything was tied to Henrik. And this, see, the sky's already orange. So this happened after the veil was lifted. This whole thing here. So this, I think, is where Mischief went after he became Mischief on the ship. He decided to go to a circus, which is odd. Maybe to escape. Maybe because he has powers, he's like, well, I'm a freak now. You know, he thought it'd make a good circus sideshow because he has all these powers now. People could marvel at it. He could entertain with it. Very odd sense of thinking to become a clown. After becoming this all-powerful being, deciding to take the form of a clown. Unless he was a clown before. Which he might be.
Have you ever seen
And I think he was.
the face of death?
I think his original name was Percy, and that's why he's like Percy. I thought we changed that, because originally he was the clown Percy on the ship, because they did send clowns over into the war zones. It's a complicated thing. It was a lot for the soldiers, so that they would have entertainment and have a sense of escape from everything bad that was going on over there. But I do believe he was the clown Percy that went on that ship during World War II. Or World War One.
Many forms.
World War II, I think. But anyway, he was one of the World War clowns that they sent over on the ships, and maybe he just kept his form. He tried to become the clown again, but now he's this clown creature. And he could never really regain his humanity of when he was a clown before, because he'd already been changed. And that's why he did what he did here in Dreamland.
Now I would wager all of us here tonight.
Oh, we're 13 likes. Please, someone else like it quick. We got Unlucky 13. Please, someone else like it. I beg you. Oh gosh, please.
In the pub, at the bottom of a bottle. Huh? Does that sound familiar? I'll tell you, I've seen it.
Oh gosh.
Death came to me in a dream last night. I was taming a 100-foot dragon with just the course.
That's not my voice.
That's when I saw it. It twisted.
Yep.
And
I think he's actually telling the truth. He's just embellishing
I
it.
saw its wicked smile. I heard its wicked laugh. And I tamed that dragon by giving him a name.
He didn't actually give it the name, though. That part's a lie.
Boys and girls,
But he saw the dragon. He's like, well, you would be a crazy clown. But I think he was already coming to the circus, because I think that's what he did before. That's all he knew how to do before. And that he was trying to find himself by becoming other things, but he realized that he wanted to stay this pink clown. It's like he said, he chose to be this way. He realized that it was what he loved and not just what he was. The war clowns. Yeah, that actually is a thing. That was the thing that actually happened. I talked about it a little bit in one of the dies, but I really want to just explain the war clowns, because it was an actual thing.
No known way of neutralizing or destroying. There is no method of hastening its half-life. It disrupts the structure of atoms, of which all living matter is composed. Much of the mystery surrounding it is maintained by the general public, which is determined to regard it as potent and irresistible as the evil spirits of the Indian. This can be partly explained by man's fear of dangers he cannot sense.
See, that kind of makes me think that Mr. Greetings was afraid of the spirits, more so. He didn't want to destroy them, but he wanted to unify them under an AI so that they could be controlled, because he was afraid of the wildness of the spirits. I'm really starting to think that third method, that third theory, is actually the correct one. And it wasn't that he was trying to get rid of them and then decided to unify them because he thought they were supposed to be something. But he more so wanted to control them. That's why there would be an AI in that ship also. He thought that they were supposed to exist, but they needed to be in a safer state, a more controllable state, so they wouldn't harm humanity, being more powerful than humanity.
I would not attempt to cross that stream, considering that I'm currently a bicycle. It's peaceful here. Henrik, look at that.
Henrik is also based on a real photographer that took pictures in the concentration camps and things. He was a wartime photographer. So that all connects into that wartime
Looks like he's about to get munched.
story and everything. Of course, the Philadelphia experiment was part of war times as well. I'm not sure if they ever collected this spirit. This is the one I accidentally called the Eye, but it's like a spiritual face. Because there's a spiritual heart and all these things. This one's just like the spiritual face. But I mean, I guess he could have collected it. But this is after the baby face was formed, so I don't know. See, it looks like an eye at first. That's why I called it the Eye. I was thinking of this part. I forgot that it turned into a face afterwards. Of course, I feel like that's just a lake spirit. See, everything has its own spiritual essence. Mr. Greetings got that part completely confused. We're still at 13 likes. Can someone please like it to give us 13? The unlucky number. Ew.
In this land of rot and erosion.
I never noticed he was saying the directions. I'm glad we used closed captioning this time.
Static, stoic, frozen.
Tell him different places he could go, maybe? Or maybe he's the spirit of one of the directions. South, I think he said. I'll have to go back. Take note of that. I think he said spirit of the south. I don't know why he'd be a directional spirit. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
I scan the horizon. Not heaven's skies, nor
Just takes a picture. It's funny.
I see your home, a state of abandon.
What is that spirit?
There is no
It moves like water. I'm pretty sure it's a lake spirit.
dangers aglow.
Very weird.
Dad,
Your search continues, as does mine.
What is he searching for?
should we wait for you?
A word of warning. Get lost, don't get lost in time.
That actually, never mind. That looks like the baby face. I feel like that's the spirit. I think that's. Oh my gosh! I think that is actually. I think that's actually the spirit of the collective consciousness. It actually spoke to him for a moment. Because not only was it multiple voices, and it talks about all the directions and how it's, or at least maybe the spirit of the earth or something. That's weird. Because when you looked at it, when it looked at us directly at us, it looks like the giant baby face. It's either the spirits all trapped inside of the blimp, trying to reach out and speak to them. It would be directional travel, so it's a traveling vehicle. That's weird. But I think that maybe he did capture that spirit, but somehow it reached out to Henrik.
There's a lot of strange things to encounter.
Or maybe it's all the spirits reaching out. I don't know. That's odd. I never noticed how odd that was before. And it actually looks like the baby face. Not all trustworthy. That tells me that it might be the baby face as well. Reaching out. It's not trustworthy.
Just gained a deeper
Just a very interesting thing to point out. I've never noticed that before. It looked like a baby face.
I really want to be one right now.
Come on, can we get one more like? I don't want to be stuck at unlucky 13. Not during the Halloween season. Please. Thank you all for the 13 likes. I do appreciate it. The way he moves is so weird. He's like a worm. For those of you all who just dropped in, we are doing a note-taking for a couple Umami theories for the timeline, just watching it all as a whole and taking notes as I absorb it all in as one piece of media, which I've never done before. Never watched it all together before, so thank you all for taking notes with me and hanging out today. I always enjoy seeing you all. Dang it, still at 13. Please, somebody like it. Killing me, guys. So I guess his family was living in his house still? See, why would it be in such disrepair if this just happened, though? I think this is separate. I think this is his old family house and nobody had been there for a while. Because remember, it shows in a second he had that fight with his daughter and she moved out. He just never came back home either. Or he just let it fall apart over the 100 years or so. Since its great-granddaughter's alive. I mean, it's been a while.
I'm a frog. And I'm feeling fresh. Nobody else is here, though. And this home, at least the one you remember, it's not here either. The planks in these walls are no more alive than the tree in that yard. We're surrounded
Yet spirit
by
energy was
dead
going
wood,
through it, which is odd.
encased, waiting for the mortician. Only that time never comes because you've outlived him.
This scene also happens later on. It's an actual
I see
thing.
why
The
you
day.
wanted to escape.
This is a hint. So he wanted to escape. So Mischief does know about it. Because he knows he's trying to put himself in the interface to escape. Because this is a picture of the day. It shows later on this picture of the day. Mischief was there as the pink horse. He actually was there. This was the day that Henrik went to visit Mr. Greetings and decided to... and Mr. Greetings gave him the opportunity to be absorbed into the interface by going to the lighthouse.
Dad,
Wow.
do you want to start cutting out the dough?
This is where we found out about when Henrik came back, which is something odd.
I remember when Mom and I would spend a whole Sunday making pierogies. And she would tell me stories about the war. Things I probably should.
What the heck? Why are the lights going down? Is it YouTube, or are you all just not having a good time?
But my favorite one was when she told me the story about how you and her met. How you fell from the sky when the skies were still blue.
Okay, so this was
No
before.
plane in sight. Just a man.
Huh. So what happened there? If he was found when the skies were still blue, I wonder what happened to his actual plane. If he was in some kind of situation before, and that's why when he was hit with the energy, that everything, that he was able to retain his form and be immortal and stuck in the time loop. Something happened here that we need to explore. Something from a different time that we never
Sleeping
truly
in
dove
a
into,
parachute.
or didn't realize it was separate. Definitely need to look into that.
And when you landed and they brought you in, she saw your injuries and did her work. And the next morning,
Hey, we're 15 likes. Thank you all so much. We got past the lucky
you
13.
looked to her,
Thank you.
and the first thing you said was,
Oh, no, I love the
I
frog
love
joke,
you.
man. The only thing worse than 13 is 33, but there's no way we're getting to that. But if you all get to 33, I'm gonna freaking just stop the stream right there. 33 is evil. 33 is a number that has haunted me for a long time. I should make a video about that, just talking to you all about how 33 has haunted me in the most miserable and awful of ways.
Why do we build?
Really. Hope you all do not get it to 33. If you all get to 33 likes, I'm gonna freak out.
Greater than ourselves.
Seriously, I'll probably have to leave if you do. It's that bad for me. Okay.
When you're cast outside
The angel
gates,
again. And it's pink. It's more like
it's
mischief this time.
dangerous. Hostile.
See, there was a girl. That I think that pink there represents the other clown that Mischief was in love with. Because there's a story
If you're not careful,
of another clown at the circus that Mischief was in love with. I think that represents her.
lost.
Maybe he lost her, and that's why he burned down the circus. She died. But that's it.
The thing about humans
That's why he relates to Henrik. He had a similar loss. His family died as well. The one he loved died as well. See? I always thought he burnt down because he didn't feel like a monster anymore. He felt like or if he didn't feel like a human anymore, he felt like a monster, and he felt like he didn't survive. So out of frustration, I thought he burned down Dreamland. I bet you he didn't. I bet you he burned down Dreamland because she died. Possibly because being overworked by the ringmaster. I never realized that. That's how he relates to Henrik. She died. That's why it's the angel, because her spirit passed on. I bet that's it. I bet she died.
As we return home, we complete the circle.
See, I thought it was him not completing the circle and not realizing he didn't belong there. But I think it's because she passed. I think that's what that meant, symbolically.
How do we end this?
When I was a child, picking blueberries in the field.
Anything that has 33 I try to avoid.
When it grows dark
Really.
and you lost your way,
You all know something about me now.
walk towards
Secret.
the light.
I do not like the number 33.
Over there,
They did the deal.
on the shoreline. You will be safe.
I've got to go over just the statements in the show. The profound ones, like what Mischief makes. There's so much story hidden in that. So many different ways to look at it. I've already made a side note of that, to look into all of those. That's his daughter. So it'd be the grandmother of the baby. Metallica, so it was a Mark II. Donor, yeah. See, that's what Kami's doing. Shiva solved, protects transformation, destruction. Ah, so Shiva is like the battle mode of Mark II, which is... See, new... Yep, Metallic Exoskeleton Mark II. New hardware detected. So Kami is the big baby head. Kami Mark I and Kami Mark II is the exoskeleton collecting the pieces. So I was right about that. I thought that's what they were saying there. What's this here, though? See, that's protection, transformation, destruction, the Shiva form. What is Gaio? Trace elements only. Status unknown. Lung code name. Okay, here we go. Okay, never mind. So, alright. So here's what they're calling the spirits. They're calling the hand spirit Shiva. They're calling the lung spirit. I never saw them collect that. So I don't know which one that is. They call it Gaio. They only have trace elements of the lungs. And they call the heart code name Ako Rokamui. I butchered that. It's interesting they're giving them all names, though. And they're telling what they do inside the interface. No scan. So what are they going to call Mischief and Henrik? What do they think they are? You just up doing the hand rest thing on my face, but it's just when I'm really interested and pulled into something, I kind of just start touching my face for some reason. That's how you know I'm very sucked into something. I love this episode. The music is crazy. X's and O's, the artificial protection sphere put up by Kami. I would not want to live in this city. They're saying that it's safety measures, but it just looks terrifying. And why do you need all these safety measures if you're stopping the spirits? Kind of being a politician there, aren't you? What I mean by that is they're saying one thing, but they're actually doing something else with it. Just using it as an excuse to complete their agendas. And here's the Shiva. It's interesting they call them name of deities also. It's like, did he actually think he'd found these deities in the real world and he was trying to unite them all because he thought the deities were too dangerous to be free? Greetings, totally lost his mind. That's what I was saying. Deity, Gaio is a wind spirit. That's what I'm saying. They're all based off deities. Well, Gaio could have been that face. The face could have been considered a wind spirit, but the fact that it came out of a lake makes me think it's more of a lake spirit. Or possibly just the interface communicating with Henrik. I watched an anime called Gaio once. It was not what you think it would be. It was about fish. Well, it was spelled different. It wasn't Gaio, it was more like Gaio? Gio, maybe? It was about these fish that would be controlled by this gas on these mechanical things, and they would affect people. It was a really weird anime. I think it was actually Junji Ito. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vex. I appreciate that. Appreciate the information sharing. I need to post some information about some things as well, as far as like Gaio, Shiva, things like that, and how they all connect, the symbology of them. I'm going to have all those in the videos that I do on this. And like I said, I don't want to become a Umami channel, but I do want to have a few more videos just really, really diving into the deepest depths and really explaining Umami, because it really does deserve a thorough investigation, and I feel like a lot of people aren't going to do that. So I'd really like to do that. Even if only for other people to use it as reference, so that the show isn't overlooked as just something pretentious, because he really did something great here. Year one. Foreshadowing of the collective consciousness, again. Together we can keep community safe. See, he's getting that into their mind subliminally, so they'll be more likely to accept becoming part of the interface, because we see at the end that it wants to absorb not just the spirits, but everything. Bring all living matter, all spirits into the interface. Which is terrifying, just eating it as a ravenous giant baby. I don't think the red hands are connected to the red face from TV earlier. I mean, they might be. It might have been part of the commercial, he may have been nearby, but it is Cammy's artificial versions of the hand spirit, using the spirit of the hand itself. And see, this right here is when I thought that one of them turned back, and the spirit was being good, but this was actually Cammy. In disguise, taking a form it knew the little girl would recognize and trust because it saw her when it took the hand. So it's trying to deceive her into thinking that it is the hand trying to save everybody when it was actually trying to force Henrik into being absorbed. Which is terrifying. Do a relative comparison of Umami and future projects. Yeah, I could do something like that. Could you expand a little bit on that concept? Like, show how, like, things I've looked into compare to Umami? I mean, just need a little bit more context of exactly what you're wanting on that. Because that would be pretty fun. I'm permanence. Whoa, how did I never notice somebody scratched in I'm? Permanent. What if that's a spirit, one of the spirits were trapped in the ship, and that's why I did that. There's so many little details that you miss just watching it through one time. I'm permanent. Something... Huh. And what made this hole? Was that mischief? Because the ship was still standing after all of that. And it made it to the dock. Or made it to the lighthouse. Wonder what happened there. It's big footprints. His little... Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Henrik. He's moving kind of weird too. But this thing, this ball, this mischief ball form. Why, dude? The heck you doing? It's hilarious. That's why you travel in the ocean too. It's odd. Spaghetti noises, so he's trying to represent spaghetti.
I call this move quantum entanglement. The trick is to do it in secret.
The heck? What's happening to me?
If unobserved, the whole system collapses in on itself.
Is that why spirits were invisible?
Henrik, look what you've done.
I wonder what that could have been in reference to.
What are we expecting to find over there?
Maybe that's why it's not as powerful as it should be, or not the actual spirit of the earth, Mischief? Because it's being observed?
Your great-granddaughter won't be waiting. And if she was, would she even recognize you?
Yeah, absolutely. I can absolutely do that pretty quick.
Recognize her?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Facade of flesh and memories change.
I'm gonna screenshot that real quick so that I remember to do that. That'd be cool.
And if you changed like I have, would you recognize yourself?
I wouldn't.
And yet, she could be on the other side of the world. But somehow, you know instantly when something is wrong.
So he's saying there, that kind of a hint that the hand wasn't really
That
a
feeling
good spirit.
wasn't felt by you alone. If I told you all that I know, you would collapse too.
See, this is the part I was talking about. Look, this is the mother, and this here is the great-granddaughter. So this is her mother, so this would be his granddaughter or granddaughter-in-law. She already had contact with the spirit. So I wonder if maybe that is her spirit, and she's like seeing that in relation, or if that's maybe the spirit of her mother waiting on Henrik. Or if this is just the Grim Reaper and she was told that she was going to pass soon or so. I don't know. The fact it looks like a skull is just odd to me, though. There's something definitely big to that.
It's not my place to tell you. These are things you'll find on your own.
See, and then it shows her look over to the side, but it's gone because, you know, she was there. But that just, also the way it's framed makes me think that that is her. Or a family member, at least. I think we're seeing, you know, actually, I think you actually see those shapes being formed from the static, like, sparks of this lighthouse. I wonder if we were seeing that the whole time as hints that the lighthouse was the center of everything, because it really was when you think back on all of it. So maybe that's why we kept seeing those. And now we're seeing it here toward the end as a reminder. I think it's cool that they're making this into a VHS that you can buy. Just it seems like it should be something on VHS, especially being in the 480 frame. The one, what is it?
Every year that passes,
The older frame rate,
became more
whatever it is.
quiet.
Okay, I don't remember this too much for some reason.
When I look at him,
That is the alpha symbol, you're right. Huh. So the
he looks
first,
just as he always did.
then maybe Mischief is the last of the spirits that were made? I don't know, that's weird.
I've grown
Alpha.
older than him.
It's probably another deity of
He
sorts then.
remains the same, yet
Weird.
under the skin,
I thought it looked more like the devil though, like the horns and
he
the skull.
couldn't be
I don't
more
know.
different.
Was there a flash there? Yeah, this is when she passes. Yeah, I don't see. Somebody said there was a flash of the hand creature there, but I didn't see. Oh! Well, there we go. There's our answer. I never even noticed that. There's our answer. It was his wife. See? Either his wife or his daughter. Which one was that laying there? Looks like his daughter. So the hand was his daughter reaching out to his granddaughter. Because you know the great-granddaughter's the little one. Wow, I didn't notice that before. I'm glad we watched it again. That's something brand new that I never noticed. That can add to the timeline. See, when she passes, Her spirit took the form of the hand. So it was her ghost all along that we were seeing. And that's why she was talking to her daughter. It was her family. She's the hand. Wow. And so we find out that Henrik was the cause of the crash, and that's why he kind of just lost his will to live. It's awful. There's mischief coming to feed. So he knows. He's got some kind of sixth sense about when something's going to die, it seems like. It's odd. And the hand came here, too. Spirits somehow know about when someone's going to die, it seems like. She come to save her great-granddaughter.
Why are you here?
Maybe they made a deal. See, why are you here? That was her see, that was actually her voice. So it was the daughter. The ghost was the daughter to witness a mortal sin. That makes you sound like you're some kind of deity being also. But that was the daughter. That was why it played her voice there. It was actually her speaking. She is the hand. She came to save her granddaughter. She made a deal with her daughter to save her or something. That's why they were talking.
A mortal sin. And the consequences.
So glad we watched this again. I did not notice that at all the first time.
But also, it's
What?
of blood guilt.
Blood guilt. Ah. So he wanted to see what Henrik would do.
It's supper time.
So they do know somehow. Spirits. Why doesn't Henrik, though? Or maybe he does. At least somewhat. He thought maybe that he was going to die. He didn't realize it was someone else dying because it was him. I don't think he's exactly the same kind of being because he kept his human form. I don't think he's a spirit exactly. He's some other kind of anomaly, and I think that might have something to do with him appearing out of nowhere. Something else happened to him beforehand that caused him to shift in a different way. That's awful. He was the reason. Man, that just sucks. First time I saw that, I had to just stand there for a minute. Just those tingly feelings, jaw agape.
Unlike him.
I did not expect that.
Still here.
Unlike him, I'm still here.
You can change that.
Or just like
Bring
him
him
still.
back. Let him know she's still here too.
So it was her talking as the hand the whole time. Gosh, I'm so glad that
Until
finally
then,
put that together.
I will protect her.
Janef actually explained that before. He mentioned that. I'd never actually seen the proof. Oh, so she made a deal with him. Bring him back. Bring him to the lighthouse. So that's why he was with Henrik the whole time. I never understood that either. He made a deal with the hand right there. And that's why he's been following Henrik around. And then all that perish, he can eat. That was the deal. I've never noticed they made that deal. And I never noticed she was the hand. Almost through now. About halfway through the last half. So we're about 75% through Umami's interface. See, and this is the aftermath of Dreamland being burned down. Which we now know was after. Maybe the love wasn't requited anymore. Because he was no longer the same mischief. I still think something happened to her, though. I wonder whose skull that is. Maybe the ringmaster? No idea.
It was the midst
The people
of
died during that,
World
so
War II,
that's kind of bad.
where
World War
newly
II, see.
developed technology was rapidly being created, deployed,
This is where I
and
connected to some
tested.
things. This is Mr. Greetings telling what his original...
was
Yeah,
not any routine test.
he's telling his original plans.
As a fresh recruit to the U.S. Navy,
Gone wrong. U.S. sailors fused to USS Eldridge. So the other was a different ship. So they weren't the ship. So the ship actually happened, but apparently there was more than one that did it. Because we see that it was a different name on the ship that Mr. Greetings was on. Ghost sighting, skyrocket.
Joseph Greetings was one of the first, one of the few, to witness the paradigm shift that haunts us to this day.
Maybe it was the same ship.
You know him as the CEO of Greetings Robotics Corporation, who founded the company with a mandate to restore life.
So he was ordered to do that.
Before.
But I think it shifted.
Restoration is the primary goal of our benefactors. But we have many goals.
But we have many goals. He made a different decision.
What do you say to those born after 1943? Those born into this new world who believe things
There's
are
a lot of
normal.
sun symbolism for Mischief. Which makes me think he's like representing Ra or something. Ra,
Restoration to them
the
has
sun
a
god.
different meaning.
Sunflowers, and then we see him at the end of the train station with his face on the sun.
It's hard to explain to those who have not lived it. Our mission on board that ship was to make matter invisible. But on our return,
They made
we
the
also made visible much more.
invisible.
It was an inevitability.
So actually, so what really happened there is that they went invisible, but when whatever they did to force themselves to return back to being visible, the amplification for Mischief accidentally made the ship do the same thing to the whole planet. So everything that was invisible became visible.
Curiosity would force us to cross that threshold eventually. But much like nuclear war, the ozone layer, global warming, its discovery also led to the understanding of how it can destroy us.
So was the fear. I think his answer to that, since he couldn't return the world to normal, was to just make this interface and put them all in there under a controlled state for humanity. Control them easier. That was his answer. Because he couldn't just destroy all spirits. See, why would he float upward? There's something different about Mischief in general. I think maybe he was already there floating. Maybe he'd already been born from the Earth. And, see, because this is when everything's still happening. Yet he's already visible. So maybe I'm thinking maybe they just uncloaked. So I'm thinking maybe they accidentally uncloaked him when that happened. Oof. I think Mischief was already there. I don't think he was actually part of the ship at all. Now, after seeing this, I think he was something else. It was just nearby that they uncloaked. But I mean, he could have been on there as well. I'm gonna have to really look through it and really look through the actual story of the clown to get a solid answer there. But the military did not want Mischief there. See, the fact that they came after Mischief, they already knew he was going to be there and came to attack him, tells me that maybe somebody did know that this was going to uncloak everything and they had already planned to attack it. Something was already after it, which is very, very weird. It's weird that they would know that was there and be able to send airplane enforcement that quickly. Something's not right there. Something's a little off. See, and there's the sun symbolism again, the sun behind his head. It's supposed to represent Ra or something. It's not a normal spirit. Not a normal ghost. Maybe Kamo's trying to absorb him right there, and we just didn't know about it. It all came from Mischief, though. As his spirit energy exploded. Okay, you see, it's like a dark sun, like a black hole, like a reverse sun. So Cammy's trying to become, maybe Cammy is the reverse of life? It's cosmic death. The dark sun.
What do you say to those who are afraid of what's to come?
I tell them,
The polar opposite to the creation
if they're afraid
being,
now,
the light being
it's because they were born into this nightmare.
odd. Sun's associated with creation, so I
You're
say
living
that.
in the shadow world. And who's casting the shadows?
Life, in general. Beings.
Besides,
Because so the sun
the
makes everything
vast
grow.
majority is already on board. They welcome these changes. They have faith in us. World governments have faith in us. We know what the best interests are.
A little cocky there, aren't you, buddy? We're almost at the end now. Yes, we're in the last 30 minutes of the show. Well, more than that. See, and here's where mischief formed. And it's very, very symbolic of a new world that the Leviathan rose in the sea. If you know the legend of Leviathan being in the creation of the universe, in some legends, the world serpent, the serpent around the egg of the universe, that the universe birthed itself from, all of these symbologies, there's usually the Leviathan. Mischief is the new Leviathan of this new world of spirit and man. It's odd that he makes a machine sound. Almost makes me think that maybe he absorbed part of the ship. Maybe that's why there's a hole in the ship. Gosh, he's massive. It does look beautiful in this new spirit world, with the colors and everything. Life moves on. That kind of just paints you a picture of that. That no matter how destroyed things get, a new way of life will form and life will go on. Life is very persistent. And that's, Greetings is like, why? Well, why does life keep persisting? And that's why he kind of got into all the weird experiment stuff he was doing in the first place. Oop, missed the garbage. See that sound we always heard? It's actually coming from the lighthouse. It's so weird. That's something else I noticed last time that I never noticed before.
Henrik,
What you gonna decide, my buddy?
the lighthouse.
We're very close to the end now.
It's making sound.
Are we in the last episode? I thought that was... No, there's one more after this. Into the final. This is where Henrik makes the decision. This show moved a lot faster. It made a lot more sense watching it at once. Not being so broken up, it seems a lot shorter, a lot more
You're gonna
cohesive.
have to take the stairs this time. But you know what really gets the cardio going?
I love Mr. Bird.
Flapping.
Flapping. He's so funny.
The year was 1911.
See, there's the one he loved.
Canadians took a vow. 54 years too soon.
The Ringmaster did something, didn't he?
1943.
That's why I killed him.
Employers shot me down.
Did you mean that figuratively or literally? Because that could be the reason he destroyed everything.
Told you that one.
Bet he shot her down too.
1946.
He was in love with her.
The Demon Corps struck twice.
Demon Corps struck twice, so he killed both of them. Yep, that's what happened.
Will it strike once more?
And now we're afraid that
1954.
Henrik's gonna be killed. This is making a lot more sense now.
The apple was a ruse.
Apple was a ruse. The distractions, the temptation to be absorbed into the interface wasn't to help Henrik, but it was a ruse. Must be when he met him.
My soul
Both kind of lost their humanity when the crash happened.
Do you hear me? I will wander with you and ascend to my solitude.
So you did base decisions with him. So it's kind of confirming all that we've been looking into.
Henrik, when was it for you?
They're both kind of on their wits' end, just kind of don't want to exist anymore. Both connected in that way as well. They had very, very connected, interconnected stories and lives and journeys. There's the creepy baby face. Coming to absorb like a creep. Last 3 episodes really did feel like one. Except for this was 2 more. I mean, they're shorter, but just odd. Never really saw them as separate. And here, Floxcat is where you see the baby transform into the baby. Yeah, the apple's just like the temptation to become part of the interface. The invitation. Good to see you, Linson. Glad you can make it. We're just doing, I'm taking notes for the new timeline and some of the Umami theory videos that I have. And just thought I would take notes with you all live. Experience it together, watching it as a whole. I've never watched it all together, both parts before, so it did make a lot more sense together this time. Thank you all for stopping by, and thank you all for the 16 likes. I really appreciate it, and the 1 dislike because it still boosts me in the algorithm. I don't know why somebody disliked though. Sorry that I upset you, apparently. See, now we see all the shapes, the natural shapes intermingled with the artificial shapes.
Dad?
Oof. The hand got absorbed, so you could hear her in it. See, and that's the part that kind of confuses people. The fact that he got absorbed, and then he's awake again. I don't know if his immortality got absorbed, or if that was... Because remember, he fell on the floor before and kind of had visions and hallucinated. I think he may have had a vision of what would have happened if he would have pressed the red button. And this kind of explains the red button situation, and then we actually see the ending. So this is the semi-final episode. I'm thinking it was just a hallucination or a vision, like the octopus had before. See, he already knew about the octopus, too. There's something going on behind the scenes that none of us really noticed. How did they know all this? How did everybody get these premonitions? Was everybody having these visions now that the veil was lifted? How did all these people either know or subliminally know what needed to be done, what needed to come together? When was this meeting, exactly? I feel like it was right before the series began, before we see Henrik thinking, looking into those doll's eyes. How did everyone know about these things to come? If that is the correct timeline. I'm really going to have to take a deeper look at that before I decide. Before I realize what the timeline actually is. Maybe. Maybe that warranted the downvote. Whatever. Like I said. Oh, 17 likes. Thank you all. If we can get to 20, that would be awesome. Thank you all for the 17. I'm going to count that downvote as a vote. So thank you all for the 18 interactions. Let's see if we can get to 20 interactions. See, this had to happen before. This is the train. This is when we see the horse. So now we're saying this is before. This is when he was on the way, before he shook his hand.
You're facing the back of the train. You'll only see your past.
Oh! That's Greetings with his eyes missing. Well, that's foreshadowing of when he becomes one with the interface and it plugs into his eyes.
Aren't you curious to see your future?
Or does he have eyes? Was it just the lighting? I don't
The
think
past
so.
it is.
I don't think so. I think he's missing his eyes. It's foreshadowing. Artistic foreshadowing. Or maybe it's showing that he's already hollow as it is. He'd already been lost. And there's the brain being born. The brain spirit. So, but the veil's already been lifted. So this is afterward. Something else happened afterward. The transformed Henrik. After the veil had already been lifted. Look at the sky, it's red. And there's something lifting off it. I mean, that could represent the veil lifting, but it almost seems to me as if someone's presenting it, like it was already found, and that this was maybe done on purpose. The egg being... This train stopped. Okay, this is after the meeting. This is after the meeting you had. Isn't it? Or is it? No, because the veil's already been lifted. Well, of course, that happened a long time ago. So this... I guess this is after the meeting. Or maybe he's just thinking about...
What is the origin of your problem?
That's confusing. Okay, so this is before the meeting. He's just thinking about being on a train before. Okay, this is all symbolic. Okay, never mind. This didn't actually happen in this order.
From reality.
I think you might have actually saw a nuke, but I do believe that that nuke was not actually a nuke, and it was actually the veil when it was ripping.
Focus,
Okay.
Henrik.
Yeah, we do see that, too. So I guess it could just be a different train ride.
You have the answers.
Yeah, in last episode, we see Henrik on the train while the house is being destroyed. But I think this is more symbolic, this one. Or maybe not.
Is look within.
Maybe this is after he'd already been made immortal, but he wanted him to take a picture. Maybe that was part of the deal. Greetings had him take a picture of this egg. And when he did, it birthed, but maybe...
All haunted souls remain on
Maybe
Earth.
this is the second rebuilding. Maybe this isn't the same time. This is the same
They failed to go
point in time when
as
he
they
became.
came.
Okay, now it's starting to make sense. The thing with him and the parachute that I couldn't understand how that fits into the story. Him and the parachute. The skies are still blue. Okay. Something happened there. I don't know if it really explains that, but I think this is a second occurrence of his body being destroyed and reforming. It's just showing how durable his body is. I think Mr. Greetings maybe wanted to test how durable his immortality was. I think this might be a separate instance, and that's why we saw the veil. It was mechanical, done on purpose.
So
Mr. Greetings
when
did
you
this
died,
possibly, but I don't know. Because it's also kind of symbolic, and he's talking about when
Why
you
did
originally
you
died.
stay?
Why did you stay? I don't know. How would he know that? How would he have saw that? This may have actually happened, a second occurrence.
Complicity in
Greetings
war.
testing.
The advancement of destruction. Furthering the divide between the natural and the industrialized society. These are the weights the man of the past carries. These are the sins that haunt us. As time goes on,
And now it shows him in the city the day that everything started. Okay. So I think that all happened the same day, honestly.
in the
He went-
ever-changing world.
Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking now, is that he went to go meet with Greetings. Greetings gave him the deal. If he wanted to become part of the interface and move on, he could, and explain that his wife would and his family would probably already be in the interface. Give him this fake world that would be perfect. And then on his way back, he wanted him to perform a test. He had him take a picture of the egg, but when he did, I guess Greetings knew that it was about to hatch, and he figured it would kill him. Or maybe it was symbolic of a nuke going off. And Greetings, not actually standing behind him, but through cameras or something, witnessed how complete his immortality and his regenerative properties and the time loop are. I believe that was a separate instance of a test. the way it's set up, it really does seem like that.
Like you.
First time I thought it was
We
just
suffer
rehash of what happened,
ourselves
or him
the
talking about what
beginning
happened
and
in
the
a symbolic way.
And indebted ourselves to the great reversal.
But I really think it's a separate instance.
Unlike you, we've changed.
So he's trying to bring industrial and nature together, but instead of trying to become one with nature, place by the sea. So that's what it was. He thinks that he's above nature. So he's trying to bring nature into humanity, into something humanity can control, into humanity's grasps, because he thinks that it was supposed to be united, and that we've been dividing ourselves from nature by not... Dividing ourselves from nature is a negative thing or a bad thing. But instead of just trying to unite with nature, he's trying to take nature and make it ours. That's kind of the conclusion he came to. And I believe that, like we said earlier, I believe this horse actually was Mischief, witnessing all this, and that's how he knew all this about Henrik. And knew about his deal, knew that he should follow him. And because remember back then, when the daughter died, the Hand made a deal with Mischief for him to be watching Henrik. He may have been watching Henrik for a long time before he actually revealed himself in the first episode. So this horse, I believe, actually was Mischief watching Henrik before he decided to actually confront him and talk to him about the lighthouse and you know, this whole adventure. This is back when he was very first watching him after the granddaughter died and he gave up on life and all of that. This is all after the deal.
The sun will burn us down.
And that's, again, reference to Mischief being some kind of sun being. Finding that balance. Oh, absolutely, Linson. I believe they were testing the interface and the concept of the interface before the Philadelphia experiment. I think that it actually wasn't an experiment gone wrong. I think it was very intentional. And that's something that is hinted at a couple times in this series. That when I make my timeline, I will reference it. Yeah, the spiritual energy. Maybe not the interface itself, not the uniting part of it, but using it, utilizing it, knowing it's there. They knew it was there, and they were trying to reveal it to study it, possibly. It wasn't the fact that it had revealed itself to be studied, like they were saying, and like Greetings was saying when he was lying, honestly, but it was that the humanity itself had revealed it to study it. Again, man trying to overcome nature, be above nature, and the problems it causes, which is an overarching theme in a lot of this series.
When we
overarching
call out
theme,
the gods,
sorry. See.
All we hear is silence.
But they knew they were there. That's why they revealed them. It wasn't the spirits. They were looking for the gods.
We're not
or
enough.
Spirits. I mean, that could be the kind of the same thing.
We need you too. The man of the past.
See, also, the way he talks here makes it sound like he's trying to build this interface to communicate with this universal consciousness deity thing as well. I think Greetings just kind of lost it when he started thinking that the technology was the next stage in evolution. They were supposed to be one with nature in a forced way.
There is only one place, one time, one choice. If you choose the right one, you can restore the balance. The burden on your
Are you
shoulders
restoring the balance, or are you just taking away one of the factors to create a new
among us
balance,
all.
but erasing half of the equation?
You will redeem yourself. And most importantly, you will be happy.
So this is still him, his vision, imagining inside the perfect interface, getting on that train where he had the ticket, getting on the train station with the sun face, and then that was the train stopping. So that might have been all symbolic of what he went through on his journey as he went to meet her within the interface. There's a lighthouse back there again. No? Or is that their house? No, it's a lighthouse, I think. Yeah, it's a lighthouse.
Things are just like they were.
See, this is all his vision. Him imagining what it would be like, what he'd have to actually give up to destroy the interface.
For a time.
But we put his own needs above everyone
I
else's?
thought I'd
That was
never
the
see you
decision.
again. Tell me I'm not dreaming.
If what you want is to live forever,
Or maybe this vision was actually given to him by Greetings to show him what it would be like an advertisement. Or maybe it's just in his mind what Henrik is actually thinking as he's making the deal with Mr. Greetings that we saw at the beginning of this episode, where he actually met with him, because then it cut to this. So maybe this is all in his mind as he's thinking about taking the opportunity, what it would actually be like. But again, that's another picture of Henrik.
Live here, within the interface.
He's like a picture that's preserved in time. The photographer, he preserves moments forever. And he's saying that you can preserve this picture, this moment forever. And it is his daughter. It's said right there.
Are you here to stay?
Because she's already in the interface, because she was the hand that was absorbed. But, so it wasn't his wife, that was his daughter. His eyes is chaos unknown, so that's why he wants him contained. He doesn't like anything that's natural, that is out of the control of man.
Is chaos
But
unknown? He hides more than you wish to know.
he's talking about mischief, actually. But
you're not free from guilt either. That's why he preys on you. Capture the devil that haunts you. Cast him to the light.
so mischief was already following him. This is after he noticed that during the meeting. And this is the actual train
You
leaving,
see him.
isn't it?
Are you fearful?
No, this is still in the simulation, him showing him what it could be.
Are you scared? If you're not, you've been fooled.
That's the mindset he had to absorb the
When you
spirit.
see him, what do you feel?
Yeah, he let Henrik go to press the button. He gave him the decision. Apparently, because of the type of being he is, it had to be absorbed through the lighthouse. He probably could have absorbed it through the actual interface baby at that moment, which is why they were searching for him. They're probably going to do it by force if he didn't do it himself.
In the lighthouse, there
But
is
back
a
then,
red button.
you see, back then he gave him the choice.
Press it, and you will make the right choice.
And then he's thinking about what choice he should make, and that's where interface began. So we're kind of seeing the loop before the last episode, where it all began. And now we're in the last episode. Sodium thiopental administered. Midazolam administered. Hydromorphone administered. See, there's certain ways they gotta absorb them. They can't just suck actual living beings. So Henrik isn't exactly a spirit. He is some kind of weird living being stuck in a time loop. That's why he has to be absorbed differently. Or maybe it's because, maybe the reason he didn't absorb him right there is because he was afraid of mischief, because he hadn't built up enough of Cammy at that point to be able to fight it. He knew that mischief was following him around. But if he made the choice himself, he might have known that mischief wouldn't have tried to stop him from absorbing Henrik. And then once he absorbed Henrik, he'd be strong enough to actually absorb mischief as well. I think that was probably the plan. And that's why we see that illusion of choice. Because that was the only way that he could get past mischief, since the interface was not complete at that point. I mean, honestly, Mr. Greetings wasn't a completely bad guy. He just misunderstood what needed to be done. Misunderstood what the universe was trying to tell him. That it wanted to be united, it didn't want to be forced into something. Instead, he took that as it should be forced. Honestly, that needs to be, Umami, you need to make that into a merch piece. I would love to buy a mischief clock, or not clock, mischief telephone, that'd be so cool. See, I think he passed out because he was having this vision the whole time. It wasn't that he'd done it yet. Because we see that he's looking at the button. So all that was in his mind. And the baby's waiting for him to put himself into it before it eats it and absorbs all the energy in there. Waiting to see his decision.
I dreaded the thought of my obligations.
Just call it Cammy Mark 1.
It reminded me of the time in the museum when you fell to the floor.
He had a vision last time when that happened.
When humans first gazed upon the night sky, did they see stars? A lung, a heart,
By engaging
a
and
hand.
forcing the universe to bend to your will. Would be peace, would be uniting, but it's not for the better. It's negative. It creates this chaos, this giant baby monster that wants to destroy everything. When by humanity uniting with the spirits and befriending them and learning to live with them and coexist, they could have peace, an actual peace, that happy peace that isn't forced or miserable. And that's kind of the point, I believe.
Stars. They saw titans. What came first, Henrik? The baby chicken or the egg?
As we talked about earlier in this stream, I think that really relates to Mischief being
Or God?
a deity being of some sort, Ra or whatever he is. It was already there, just invisible, and they revealed it when the ship decloaked. And it birthed with the world. There's no other. I don't think there'd be another reason why they would show him specifically
First,
in that picture.
then they'll make God. By doing so,
See,
they become
they're putting they become so selfish. They put themselves in the place of a god, and that is what causes the problem. Just look at the chaos that Greetings has done. It's absorbing all the spirits to this thing. Either that or it's just caused such an... I don't know if that's actually an absorbing it, or if it's just... We're just seeing chaos. We're seeing the universe kind of breaking apart as it becomes this unnatural being. Destroying nature instead of uniting with it.
every choice you make is a sacrifice.
I mean, it's Henrik's voice, or it's Misha's voice through him, but I wonder if Henrik sounds like that. If they're connected some way. Something to do with the original thing that happened to Henrik that made him appear out of nowhere on the day his wife found him. The way he runs. It cracks me up every time. You know, I mean, some of the topics we talked about today, I guess, could be considered controversial, but I don't think that art should ever be controversial. It should be something you're open to. It's an expansion of the mind, an expression of human soul and mind, and reflection of nature, and reflection of life, reflection of everything. I don't feel like it should be something that is scrutinized so seriously, so deeply.
Nothing will stop.
Something to be experienced, to enrich you, not to take you down. So I don't really like calling any art controversial.
And thus,
Not the
there
point.
never was a choice at all.
See, it's undoing itself. Nature is coming apart. He thought he had a choice to make nature his to control, but it's uncontrollable. That's what he's saying there. It's a mistake. Spirit energy. wasn't meant to be constrained in one being.
So it follows. If your choice is an illusion,
I love that Umami makes all of the music for his series himself.
is your sacrifice.
He's an awesome musical composition artist as well. It really adds to it. You can buy his music in record form and CD form, and also stream it on Umami's channel, by the way. Now we get the choice again.
Force your hand.
He's reminding him that the apple is an
You can
illusion,
join us willingly,
that it's all just a trap.
in peace.
I mean, you can see it's a trap now. You saw what it actually became. It's this
Smile.
all-consuming demon baby.
Aren't you happy to see your great-grandfather?
Reminding them that it was all just a distraction. This was all. There's the house getting ripped up. He rejected the distraction. The lie of peace. Last event.
To see
Looks super
through
3D
your eyes.
with the red and the blue. See, Cammy was unhappy being the interface as well.
It's no different to me.
It's like the moon. You can see in the background there was the moon. Cammy represents the opposite of the sun. The dark that is in front of us, like the apple. Oh my gosh, the apple in front of the face is a moon symbology. Cammy being the moon, being the opposite of the sun. Instead of allowing us to see the light, it obstructs the light during an eclipse. So Cammy was like the eclipse. What was blocking the sun was blocking the truth about the way things were actually supposed to be. The reason it actually revealed itself and allowed it to happen, because it was never a choice to begin with. It wanted to reveal itself. It allowed that to happen.
Only fits one way.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can look out, but you cannot look in.
Which are actually made out of the actual will of the spirits within Cammy. It only knows what the AI allows it to know.
Upon the night sky,
So it's limited itself again.
what do you see?
Mischief is so weird in that form. I feel like that might be his true form, though. At least its current physicality.
All this talk and now I have a splitting headache.
But look at the shape of the hair and the face. It looks so much like his granddaughter. The mother to the great-granddaughter that we see with the hand. The hair is almost identical. There has to be a reason for that. Maybe this was her spiritual form? But I mean, Mischief absorbed it, though. So confusing. That part is confusing. Yeah, the mask only fits one way. It's only one way of thinking. You can't be open and see the other ways of thinking with this mask of what you actually are. She's activating. I still need to decode this. It's using the Shiva attack form, so the hand. Last resort explosion. But I need to. There's coding all throughout the series that I really need to decode. It's hexadecimal. I'm gonna have to do that. I don't know why he did that. Unless he actually was damaged enough to not be able to move for a while. But that face. Mischief's dead face. And then he checks the pulse of a decapitated head. What the heck? So funny. He wanted that hat all along. That was Mr. Secret goal was to get the hat.
Musty.
I also feel like that might actually be Henrik moving on.
And nutritious.
Is that what gave him the energy to go back together?
Now I'm nutritious.
Because he remember he ate the spaghetti and it gave him some energy, but not enough to keep going. Maybe Mischief actually was that damaged, and him eating the hat gave him enough energy to restore himself. And the reason it's so powerful is probably because of Henrik's predicament. Because we saw, even when Greetings did that test, or it was the nuke, whatever, when it blew off everything, even the hat reformed. Everything reformed. So maybe it was him absorbing that quantum or time energy from Henrik that allowed him to become back in his full state. Mischief.
I'd get out of here.
So he ended up needing Henrik all along.
Baby shows up. It's looking kind of hungry.
Addison, I think it has a lot to do with Solaris. There is a lot of symbology to do with deities. I mean, it even lists like Shiva and Gaio and all these different things. I really do think it has reference to Solaris, and we will talk about that when I do make the timeline video. And the few videos I plan on making with the symbology and the art references, things like that. When I do make those videos, the clown, all that, I will reference Solaris and get a little more into that. But yes, you're absolutely right on that, I believe. Today we're just analyzing. I'm taking notes for the timeline video and for the other videos as watching it as a whole, because I haven't actually watched Umami as an entire interface as an entire series. I've never watched it as a big chunk as a whole before. I've always just watched it episodically. So that's what I wanted to do today. Just get it all together as one package for the timeline and everything.
Even parasites.
See, it kept eating other things and not being satisfied and being upset because it wasn't enough. Mischief was definitely enough, so I'm thinking also if Mischief was a true Ra or whatever he was, if that's what he was actively seeking. Maybe it was too much. Maybe it overloaded him. Maybe nature in itself rebelled and killed him. But the fact that he refers to the parasite thing is also, you know, him falling, him dying. He parasitized him. But yeah, with the Solaris reference, and also with Herakity reference in Egyptian mythology, when the sun, Ra, fused with the moon, which would be Kami, which if this is Kami Mark 1, would be the fusion of the sun and the moon, they both kind of died in essence and became a new being. So maybe, because at the very end we see static in the creature's nose, so I think it's still alive, or maybe that was a sign that Mischief is still alive, hidden inside of it, and he's going to come out. He just hasn't got the energy to reform yet, and he was still inside of him, parasitizing him. But I'm thinking that more so represents that a new being is about to be born, or it became a new being that was at peace with itself. And maybe it was more in meditative state than actually dead, but they don't explain that, so no way to tell that for sure. That's just a theory of mine. That's at least something interesting to reference, though. It's worth mentioning. Baby short. I don't know. Can we get to 33 likes before I close? I have to go here in a minute, though. I do have someplace I have to be today, unfortunately. But yeah, that would be awesome if we could get this. I mean, even to 33 likes after the stream, because I'll have the video live after, so it'll be on the channel. But if we get this to 33 likes, that would be awesome. And not awesome at the same time, because 33 is an unlucky number for me. So really, I don't want that to happen, but it would also be cool, I guess, if y'all want to do that. I don't think Mischief dies, because I'll show you at the end. This is another painting reference, but like who's on, you know, all that. But anyway, enough with the referencing that. Also, the two people over there, if you noticed, were the two people that they saw earlier at the French Art Museum. That was the child and the parent from the art museum earlier. They met up with them, which is kind of odd. But I don't think Mischief died. I think Mischief is in a weakened state, kind of like when Cammy destroyed him, and he doesn't have the energy to reform yet. Or it could be that since he parasitized the being, or it was absorbed into it and became one with it, that he's more in a immobile or comatose state. Not so much that that he's dead per se, but that he's no longer a physicality, and then he might be able to reform one day. I don't know about that. Or maybe he'll just live on as this new being that is at peace. So I'm not really sure on that. Baby shark no. Well, I mean, he fell in the water and he's a baby, so baby shark chomp. That's funny. Anyway, thank you all. Before we drop out, though, I do want to show you all the static in the baby's nose to prove that I'm not just crazy. Because I am crazy, but not just crazy. I want to show you all real quick. Right, see, look, in his nose. I mean, obviously, there's still static in the nose, so there's still spiritual energy in there. So I don't think it's dead, or I don't think Mischief is dead. That could be Mischief about to come out reforming. And the fact that it has a circle going around it, the kind of circular thing again, they're referencing that again. I think it's either being reborn into something new, into a new being. It could kind of represent that. Or represent the circle keeps going, represent the Leviathan, could represent many things, cycles. But the fact is, I think it's very symbolic that they're all going around a circle and that there's still static in the nose. There's something to that. They showed this at the end for a reason, because if you just fell in the ocean and died, there'll be no reason to show this at the end. But they're showing the symbology of the circular world goes on, things are still moving around the baby thing, the Cammy Mark 1's head, as they're static in the nose. So either they're becoming a new being that it is at peace, or maybe it's another rebirth, it's going to become a new being, or Mischief's still alive, still parasitizing it, and will come out once he's done feasting. Something like that. There's something to that. It's not just random. I know it's not. Umami wouldn't put that in there just to be random. There's definitely a symbolic reason. Alright, I think I have what I need. I think I've got my notes all together here in my head. I'm going to write those down before I forget them all. But I do believe that was enough. It was a very eye-opening to watch it all at once, and I do believe that was enough to work on my theories and timelines and things. So thank you all for stopping by today. Thank you all for hanging out with me. But I do have plans today, and I gotta hit the road here in a bit. But just thank you all for stopping by, hanging out, taking notes with me, and watching Umami, enjoying it with me. I really appreciate all of you here. I appreciate the 17 likes, and the dislike sucks. But hey, it's 18 engagements. Like I said, that'll help us in the algorithm. It'll help people find this video, people who want to actually look into Umami. It'll help with all of that. It'll boost us up and all of that. So I don't really appreciate it, but at the same time, I appreciate the engagement. Just thank you all for everything today. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for all the continued support. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you just everybody who helps out. Thank you everyone in the Discord. I'll see you all over the Discord for a little bit maybe. I need to have a call with Fluxcat about some things. But again, just thank you all for stopping by today. Thank you all for subscribing. I can't wait to see you all in my coming videos and coming streams. I do plan on streaming again tomorrow. I'm going to do the next live dive tomorrow night. And I have a Peaceful Watcher stream next week. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for everything again. And I'll see you all later. Keep your eyes wide open and never